Here we got the Sixers down 1-0 in Miami, and just 2 seasons ago, James Harden led the league in scoring, 34 points per game. This year, the average down to 22, his lowest in a decade. His shooting percentage 41, his lowest since he was a rookie. The playoffs recently have been a major head scratcher for Harden. He's recorded 11 consecutive games under 25 points. That's the second longest streak of his postseason career. Remember, he began his postseason career coming off the bench. And in these playoffs, his shooting percentage, 31% when heavily contested. That's the third worst out of 36 qualified players. For reference, that same shooting percentage last year was 40%. That can be the difference between a team moving on and getting knocked out. JJ, I didn't have you here yesterday. A lot of the conversation with Embiid not playing in games 1 and 2 is, well, here's Harden's chance to step up and finally carry this team and all of that. What did you see in game 1 and what did it mean?
I saw the James Harden that we've seen for the last 2 months in Philly and really all season. And we need to stop viewing James Harden through the lens of who he was and view him now through the lens of who he is, and that's as a playmaker and a facilitator and not as an efficient scorer. So the idea that he should all of a sudden take 25 or 30 shots, he's an inefficient scorer right now, Legs. That's not good offense. And we can watch the game and say, James Harden's having a hard time getting by people. The advanced tracking data that they have set up in all the arenas, that backs it up. You know, his top speed is significantly lower over the last season and a half than it was when he was in Houston. His blow-by percentage rate, significantly lower this season than he was in Houston.
So coach him up, JB. What do we do about this? If Harden, he's obviously still an incredibly important piece of what you're trying to do. How does Doc figure out a way in this game 2 to put him in a place where he can be a more important piece of that offense?
Well, first, I'm glad I'm here with you two guys because I know you can relate to this. When you do get older and you do lose a step with that athleticism and burst that you guys both had, right, you have to start to use your brain. And James is an extremely intelligent basketball player. So if he does not have the same burst because of the hamstrings or whatever it may be, now you have to outthink your opponent, right? He has the ball handling skills. He has the physical frame where he can use his brain to help himself beat his man, set his man up, and get to the basket and still do what he needs to do.
I will remind everyone that JB Coach was on the staff in Houston and so have coached James Harden in your life, so you know his game intimately. Legs, how about it? Game 2. I don't want to say season's on the line. You lose the first 2 on the road and you come at home, maybe you get Embiid. So let's not overstate the significance of it. But it feels like we need to see them put up more of a fight.
We do, and I feel bad for James Harden because, I mean, can you think of a player in recent memory, excuse me, that's had more laid in his lap? Hey, James, please figure this out while we're waiting on Embiid. Go be James Harden from 4 years ago. And he knows physically right now, I don't think he's capable of doing it. So I'm going to look in a different direction. Look, if you're George Niang, if you're Danny Green, if you're Korkmaz and you get minutes tonight, you know, if you're Maxey, you got to be better. Those guys have to make open threes, period. And they missed probably 8 to 10, what I would consider naked threes by NBA standards. You've got to do something to help James Harden get some more space so guys aren't sitting in his lap. He didn't get a lot of help in the first game either, but I completely agree with JJ in that, you know, 5 for 13, if he shoots more, turns into 9 for 25 real quick. And that's not helping you win either. He's got to be more selective.
But can they get him better shots is the question, because the points have to come from somewhere. So I get it. If you get him shots, he will make them. The problem is he's taking all these shots. He's not beating anybody, so he's taking all these contested shots. Can you get him better shots?
So one of the things that we talked about yesterday is just the idea of getting him off the ball initially,
right,
and putting him in places where he can start with movement to get downhill. You guys used to run this set in Houston for him where he would start in the right corner, ball would end up at the high key. It's delay action, basically. And he gets a pin down from the other guard and comes off to his left hand with the head of steam and is able to make plays and hopefully finish. But what we're witnessing now in this ISO, slow, methodical James Harden play, it's not able to break down a defense. And so getting him in movement, I think, is the key.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.